population of what?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Shalawama. Islam to all the Moors. All right, how's that? Okay, welcome to the free astrotheology course. Hold on, y'all. Let me get myself together. I thought I had it all right, but I don't like it. Maybe this is better. I don't know. So let's pick back up with the celestial ship of the North. I'm going to do this on my other YouTube channel. It's called North. So just search North, Dr. Yasapa, and subscribe. I'm trying to get away from this channel because the shadow ban is so severe. It's been like this for like 5 or 6, for as long as I had the channel, y'all. So let's pick it up. The celestial ship of the North. I'm going to continue doing the astrology of the Old Testament. I'll continue doing that. But for now, I just want to give y'all a taste of the celestial ship of the North. All right. This book changes everything. Anyway, let's make it do what it do. Let me check to see if I have a signal. I got my mobile phone back, finally. Let me check to see if there's a signal, y'all, before I get started. So I don't waste 2 or 3 hours talking to myself again. Give me 1 second. Are we live? Yeah. Mic check, mic check. Mic check. So I'm going to start off, y'all, with showing another picture of the constellations in the northern. Oh, this is incredible. So maybe y'all don't believe me, but look. So I'm trying, I don't know. Y'all see that? Ah, there we go. Nope. Y'all see that? See, this kind of thing, I don't even know if y'all can hear me. This only happens when I go live. Since I've been doing the astrotheology stuff. Okay, all right. So I gotta keep it on, y'all. Hold on. Give me 1 second, let me get it set up, all right? I have to check it from time to time to make sure I have a signal. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. All right, I think I'm good. I think it's good. All right, let's make it do what it do. So let me show you an image. Well, let me set it up. I'm not going to talk long, y'all. I promise you that. I just want to revisit something so y'all know what I'm talking about as I go through this. So we're in the celestial ship of the North. This is the class I'm teaching over on my other YouTube channel. The author is Eve Valencia Stratton. This book was published in 1927. 2 volumes. This is the first volume. I'm looking for the second volume. And these books are difficult to get. So let me find what it is I want to draw y'all attention to, okay? Ah, here we are. Page 13. Isn't that interesting? Sut. Second paragraph, Sut, son of Typhon. Typhon is the great mother, the celestial ship of the North. Was the name given to the first male. Now, don't get it twisted, y'all. Male is actually masculine because we're dealing with I want to say celestial. We're not dealing with flesh and blood. Okay, we're dealing with, I can't think of the word. Well, we're dealing with celestial things. How about that? So it cannot be flesh and blood. A man, physical man, cannot live in space. At least it hasn't been proven. Okay? So the first male ever recognized or known. So we know this is not talking about a flesh and blood body. Because this is celestial, it may be a story being told metaphorically, right? Or in allegory. Clear, y'all? Clear? This is celestial. And there is such a thing called masculine and feminine energy, which both of those together make the Hermetic law of gender. And specifically in its role of bringing forth or giving birth, which you can speak of, I guess you can personify as a woman giving birth, okay? All right, so let's continue. So Sut, son of Typhoon, was the name given to the first male ever recognized or known. And though his manifestations were many, he manifested with many names and biographies. Probably in many different chronologies or eras of time, y'all. His beginning, in other words, his first manifestation was as Sut, S-U-T, Sut, the dog star. Sut, the dog star. Now, dog, of course, is God spelled backward, or rather, God is dog spelled backward. Stars are suns, right, y'all? S-U-N, sons. Y'all see it? Isn't God supposed to be a sun when you look at astrotheology, right? Okay, so his first manifestation was as Sut, the dog star. That's Sirius, right, y'all? Isn't that Sirius? Sirius, the dog star? Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I'm going to have to check my notifications from time to time because I got things to do and people to see and places to go. All right, so Sirius, or the dog star as we know it, in the south. Now that is extremely important. So we have the Great Bear in the north and Sut, the dog star, in the south. The Great Bear in the north and Sut, the dog star, in the south. That's at the North Pole, the North Celestial Pole, and the South Celestial Pole. This is key. You should be thinking Clock of Destiny right now. You should be thinking Clock of Destiny by C.M. Bay, Volume 1 and 2. Let's continue. Okay. So Sut, the dog star, as we know it, in the south, the southern celestial pole. He is Sut, ended by becoming the Alpha and Omega of the book of Revelation. In other words, he ended as becoming the first masculine energy formed and the last masculine energy formed. In other words, let me restate it. The first male and the last male formed. Y'all got it? He ended by becoming the Alpha and the Omega of the book of Revelation. Al Shaddai, Adonis. Y'all should know Adonis, Adonai, Adon, and its relation, both grammatically and culturally, to the Tetragrammaton. And the myth that the Tetragrammaton is too holy, too sacred for anyone to pronounce. So therefore, the Jewish religionist wouldn't use it. They would say Adonai. But it has two applications, one for man and then one for deity. And in relation to deity, it means Yahoo, Yahweh, all of that, the Tetragrammaton. And when you look at Strong's 1180, it tells you that Jehovah, Yahweh, Yahuwah, all of that is a symbolical name for Baal or Baali, the deity or the satanic deity that y'all are taught in Hebrew Israelitism and Christianity, so on and so forth. Al Shaddai, Adonis, that's also, you can associate that with the beautiful Adonis in the mythology. Al Shaddai, Adonis, Baal, Baali, and others were all personifications of this early son, S-O-N, early son of the first mother, and originally belonged to her cult. Now you have to remember, cult, they're speaking as though our ancient ancestors, the autochthonous people, were somehow primitive and somehow less than the beings, the Han Uman and the human, the Neanderthal, the Paleolithic caveman, somehow less than them intellectually, physically, in all aspects. And they were involved in these religious cults. So that's just a bunch of garbage, so ignore it. Well, let me not tell you to ignore it. I ignore it. You do what you want to do. Listen, y'all, which is the same as that of the Church of Rome today, which is the same as the Catholic Church today. The worship of mother and child. Y'all see that? So basically, they just robbed us of our history and used it in a very negative way. Y'all heard? Sut was the first son of Typhon. That was only used to tell a story, as a teaching tool. That's how our ancestors used it. It was a teaching tool, so that you would understand so that you could understand what was happening celestially. Give it to you in terms that were not abstract to you. Give it to you in terms that were concrete to you. Right? And then what it appears to be is that either the non-dynastic pharaohs were part of Yaqub's posse. I'm using very old language now, right, y'all? Or part of his set. And they acquired more and more wealth and resources. They were more effective at robbing. I'm speculating. They became more and more effective at robbing the masses of their birthright until finally they were able to concentrate so much wealth and power that they could then establish dynasties. And hence that's the dynastic, the period of the dynastic pharaohs. Now, why do I say that? Because initially, our ancestors had people who would rise up as judges when necessary. Every man and every woman ruled themselves. They were self-governing. Period. There was no need for a king or a pharaoh. This is how it was under the circumpolar zodiac projection paradigm. Okay? Now, here's my point. Here's my point. They took that, scandalized it, made it into a half-truth, and it's still with us today. And here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. When you get involved in religion, you start to realize that Baal and Yahweh and Jehovah, you start realizing all this stuff, and you think you got something. You think you have made some progress. You have, but you're not there. Y'all follow me? And then you start learning about astrotheology. Then you think you understand it all. And you think that the issue really is the remix of the solar zodiac projection into, worship of the stars and all of that. But you're still in their paradigm when you're thinking like that. That's my point. I think I'm in the wrong place. Anyway, my point is that the solar zodiac projection, the ecliptic or the ecliptical zodiac projection, unfortunately for us, let me not say unfortunately. Let me just say this. The ecliptical zodiac projection, it doesn't stop there. That's the beginning of our problems. So we have to get out of that. We have to get out of it. Now, some of y'all might, especially some of you Moors, might say, I'm tripping, right? But let me show you. Oh, let me continue. Hold on. Wait, hold on. I didn't show you what I wanted to show you. I got sidetracked. That's not what I wanted to show you. Where is it? Hold on, y'all. Let me I told y'all I cannot do two things at one time. I think I made a mistake when I moved to this table. I should have stayed at the other table. Hold on, y'all. I'm looking for the paragraph where it talks about page 11. Yeah, page 11. Here it is. I'm just going to go through about half of the paragraph, y'all. The abyss in Egypt. The abyss is the celestial sea. Okay, y'all? Above which the celestial ship of the north sails. The celestial ship of the north, y'all, is Typhoon that we just talked about. The abyss in Egypt is the name of the north. See, the celestial ship of the north. And the original mother of this abyss, in other words, she birthed it, she brought it forth, which was space. So the abyss is space. The ocean of space, okay, celestial space, the celestial ocean, which was space, was called Typhoon. Let me read that again. And the original mother of this abyss, which was space, was called Typhoon. There you go, y'all. Listen, the mother of beginnings. So remember, we're talking about energy. Energy, not flesh and blood. So this has to be, what does it have to be? It has to be the Hermetic law of gender, which is masculine and feminine energy, right? The mother of the fields of heaven. The mother, and here we are, the mother of revolutions. In parentheses, it says time cycles. the mother of time cycles. That's what I wanted to set up. The footnote reads, this mother of revolutions was called the producer and reproducer, that's the bringer forth, right, of souls, S-O-U-L, or gods. Now we know souls is a Catholic Church thing that they made up from S-O-L, which is soul, Latin for the S-U-N, son. Okay? And I go through this, I think the previous videos I've done on North, I talk about this more extensively. Okay, so the producer and reproducer of souls. What this talk sounds something like reincarnation, right? You expire and you come back. You expire and you come back. You expire and you come back. Cycle in, cycle out. Listen what it says. Producer and reproducer of souls or gods. We know that that's a fairly modern term. I believe it's Old High German. I don't remember, but it's Odin and Woden. From the dramatic deities Odin and Woden. I guess I should get the date and memorize it. Who were the self-born, Now, how can they be, listen y'all, how can they be self-born if they were born from the celestial mother? That sounds like a riddle, right? If there ever was one. But we'll get into that. And actually they spin this, they remix this in the Catholic Church. And the way that they do it is incestuous. So now let's keep going. The footnote continues. Who were the self-born who came, listen y'all, who came from the cycles. The souls, S-O-U-L-S, or gods, who were self-born, who came from the cycles, time cycles, y'all, time cycles, created by the revolutions of the stars of the Great Bear. Created by the revolutions of the stars of the Great Bear. Now let's take a look. I think I showed this picture the last time I did, on the last class, I showed this image. I want to show it again, okay? So y'all, let's get oriented. Take a look. This is the celestial north. Take a look at that image. Y'all can see the four corners too, right? I want y'all to start thinking circle 7. Y'all see all those circles? Y'all see all those circles? Look at the circle for the celestial ship for the celestial North Pole. Look at that. Hold on. It looks like it's out of focus. This is what I'm talking about. This is North Celestial Pole. Y'all see that circle? These are the revolutions. Y'all see it? These are the constellations in this region that are revolving. Okay? So Typhon is the mother of revolutions. That circle we're looking at, these are time cycles, okay? Each revolution a time cycle. Y'all got that? Cycling through time. Does everyone understand? Is that clear? I hope it's clear. Okay, this is the circumpolar zodiac projection, this north celestial pole right here. And let me read through so we have it in the public record. Let me read the footnote again. This is the mother of revolutions. This mother of revolutions was called the producer and reproducer of souls, S-O-U-L-S, or gods, who were the self-born, who came from the cycles created by the revolutions of the stars of the Great Bear. Now I'm going to show y'all the stars of the Great Bear, but the Great Bear is in this circular region, okay y'all? They were later known as spirits of the gods. Spirits. Helios, the S-U-N sun god, was born in the cycles of the sun, the light born. Now let me show y'all the southern. I hope it's in here. So this image doesn't show the southern. Let me show you an image of the Great Bear, y'all. This is critically important. Keep in mind, I want you to have in mind CM Bay's clock of destiny. Have in mind C.M. Bay's Clock of Destiny, volumes 1 and 2. Ursa Major, the Great Bear. This is Ursa Major, the Great Bear. Notice the stars in the thigh. Okay, this is the Great Bear, Ursa Major, in the celestial, or in the northern, North Celestial Pole region. Okay, y'all? Let's make it do what it do. Here's another image of it. Here's another image of the Great Bear. Okay? Our focus for now is on the thigh. On the thigh. So get oriented in space and time. Now let's deal with these revolutions, okay? Oh, wait. This is known as the Big Dipper. It's in fact in the Great Bear. It's prominent. I remember being a little boy being able to spot the Big Dipper, but we can use this to determine latitude. Latitude. Think clock of destiny, y'all. Think clock of destiny. Now, let's get into these revolutions. Let's get into these revolutions. Let me show you what it looks like. Give me 1 second. One second, y'all. I keep getting a bunch of commercial stuff. Hold on. Where is it? Wait a minute, y'all. Let me. bear with me, bear with me. This is not a good image, but y'all get an idea. Y'all see that? This is a time-lapse video. It's a time-lapse video. Okay, y'all, let me try to show you something that's more realistic or more clear, okay? But y'all saw the circles, right? The revolutions, the cycles of time. Y'all saw it? Here we are again. Let me try to change the orientation. Give me 1 second, man. Think circle 7, y'all. And have an open mind. And I'm not saying it is or it ain't. I'm saying it sure do look like something. CM Bay got his information from Prophet Noble Drew Ali, right, y'all? Okay. So let's deal with it. So here we are. These are the revolutions, the cycles of time that are being referred to. Okay? The Typhon, the mother of beginnings, the mother of the fields of heaven, the mother of revolutions, the mother of time cycles, as well as the mother of gods and men. She was later made goddess of the constellation of the Great Bear. Mother Goddess, and her first son was called Sut, the dog star in the south. It is here in the mystical allegory born amongst the stars that we find the origin of the Immaculate Conception. This mother was called the Old Woman because she was first of all creation. In other words, from the Hermetic law of mentalism, which is the first Hermetic law, the Hermetic law of gender was extracted first, masculine and feminine energy, and its function would be in the formation of everything else. So in that function, it's feminine, it's a woman, a bringer forth of the next generation, gives birth. Okay, y'all? Because she was the first of all creation, the first Hermetic law extracted from the Hermetic law of mentalism. And the world had been made for her. From this early beginning developed the so-called Typhonian religion, which, with its types, is the oldest of all. So they corrupted these realities and these stories that our ancestors used to teach abstract concepts. They created these stories, these mythologies, so that the people could relate to them. Okay? Clear? Now, let's keep it going. Circle 7. I need to show you Sut. I need to show you the dog star. Now remember, Sut is in the south. Remember, y'all, we're talking about time. Not religion, time. Isn't it funny how we, as a people, we say, you don't know what time it is. Or I know what time it is, right? Isn't that something? Isn't that something how that's, I guess, embedded in us somehow? Because And none of us have a clue about this. I mean, at least where I come from, we didn't have a clue about astronomy, astrology, astrotheology. We didn't know nothing about nothing. Let me show y'all. Keep in mind the Great Bear. Hold on. The Great Bear in the north. Okay? The Great Bear in the north. Let's look up the Dog Star in the south. Hold on, y'all. So this is supposed to be the Dog Star in the south. You look at it like that. Okay, so let me show you, get some better images. So Sirius, Canis Major. Here we are. Let me see if I can load that up. Sirius, Canis Major. Okay, y'all see that? Now let me tell y'all. The Great Bear and Sirius Canis in the south, these were used to tell time. Times and seasons. Originally, in the circumpolar zodiac projection, it was the Great Bear and Sirius, or the Dog Star, Canis Major, were used to tell time. So our enemies did and were successful in seeking to change times and seasons. They changed the whole way we keep time. Now time is kept by the sun, sun. Not only is time kept by the sun, but it's worship. The sun is worship. But the Sabian Moors, the Moabites, our ancestors, we led our life, our paradigm was the circumpolar zodiac projection, the celestial ship of the north. I hope that's clear. But we're going to get more into telling time by the position of the Great Bear and Sirius, the Dog Star. This book goes into that, so we're going to get right into that. Okay? Those revolutions. See, this is time-lapse video, y'all. These are time-lapse videos. Okay, so the stars start at point A, and they go all the way around one revolution, which is back to point A. That's one cycle of time. One cycle of time. Can y'all see the difference? These are two different worldviews, two different paradigms, two different ways of keeping time. One by the stars, the circle, right? A full revolution, 360 degrees, a circle. And how many stars are there in the Great Bear? 7. So I often wonder, did C.M. Bay mean, or did Prophet Noble Drew, when he said circle 7, is he talking about circle 7, the celestial ship of the north? the northern celestial pole region, and the Great Bear, circle 7. And then the image that we see with the circle 7, let me show y'all. The circle 7 image that we see, and let me clarify something. I'm not saying anybody is wrong by going with the solar zodiac region. I'm not saying that. So here's circle 7, right? On the Holy Quran that Noble Drew Ali prepared. Y'all see those spaces, those white spaces between the red circle? The vertical spaces, that's the solstitial line representing the summer solstice and the winter solstice. The horizontal white spaces between the red, that's the equinoctial lines or equinoctial points representing the vernal or spring equinox and the fall or autumn equinoxes. So these, as you study, you will find out, are called the four corners. These are the four corners. So just imagine that. Let me go back to the one image. So now here we see. Let me set this up. Y'all see this circle? We were told that this circle, the top of this circle, is the highest elevation of the SUN sun, which is around, it achieves it around June 22nd. And the lower here, this would be the lowest elevation of the SUN sun, which it achieves around December 22nd. So we have the winter solstice, and then we have the summer solstice. Okay, so summer solstice, the SUN sun takes on the title of Christ, and then at the winter solstice, that's of course when JC is dead and in the grave for 3 days. Y'all see it? But the north celestial pole is above. It's above that, much higher above it. The elevation is much greater than that, above that. Y'all see it? And so now we have a circle, our circle, with the Great Bear at the northern celestial pole rotating, right? Cycling, creating time, cycling. And then at a lower elevation, because the sun only goes so high, at a lower elevation, that's where you'll find this image. Do y'all see what I'm saying? These are called the four corners, y'all. If you read through this book, you'll see that these are the solstitial points and the equinoctial points. They are the four corners. And now we have a circle, which is the mother of time, the mother of revolutions, and we have the Great Bear constellation consisting of 7 stars, and all sevens have their origin in the 7 stars of the Great Bear. Now that is a fact. That's a fact. Okay? And I was able to get it out of this book. As a matter of fact, let me try to find it for y'all. So no one can say I'm just talking, all right? Or impute some negative motive on me. Let me try to find this real quick. All right, y'all. Oh, here we are, page 8. Again, the Holy Spirit was Virgo, the virgin of the zodiac, who bore the immaculate sun. She was the great nurse of all existence. She was wisdom. This is talking about the celestial ship of the north, who was Typhon. She was the great nurse of all existence. She was wisdom. She was the power of God. They pulled that, Christianity pulled that right out of our culture. More beautiful than the sun sun. Y'all see that? More beautiful than the sun sun. And when compared with the light, she is found before it. She is found before the light. Why? Why? Because as we already know, she is intensely black. And we're not talking about a physical woman. We're talking about celestial things. We're talking about intense blackness, dense darkness, a superabundance of darkness metaphysically is light. And darkness adopted light, illumination, in order to make itself visible. Page 9 of this book. Let's go back to the text, to the page 8. She was the mother of the gods. That includes the tetragrammaton. And we're going to show that. I'm going to show it. She was Isa, the Virgin of God. Isa, is that Isis, y'all? Mary, Virgo. They remixed her, right? She was the sea, the mystical rose, oh, Rosicrucians, right? The cup with wings. To typify her transcendent beauty, she was called the rainbow, having 7 colors, or the 7 stars in one. Okay, and then it goes in to I am that I am. That's actually not what I wanted, but I want in here you'll see that the Great Bear has 7 stars. Let me see if I can find this. It's somewhere near here. I'm going to keep going, y'all. We'll come back to it. But do y'all see my point? Can y'all see my point? This is only dealing with the sun sun. It's a lower elevation than the celestial North Pole and the celestial South Pole. Our ancestors looked at, and I'm just telling y'all what I see, okay, based upon everything that I've researched. One moment. Let me pull this image up so I can show y'all again. Here's the circle. Now, what did C.M. Bay say about the Moor when he resurrects himself from his shallow grave? What did he say? That's page 38. I hope I get the volume right. Page 38, I think volume 1. What does C.M. Bay say? Listen, y'all. Is it page 38, volume 1? So here we go, y'all. I think this is it. Page 38. Maybe it's volume 2. Hold on. Let me put it up. Y'all know what I'm looking for. About the Moor when he... Okay, page 38, volume 2, y'all. Here we are. Listen to this, y'all. Let me show it. Page 38, volume 2. In fact, let me show you the title first. Let me show you the cover page first. Clock of Destiny, volume 2. Your Master Key of Civilization. Y'all got that? C.M. Bay. All right. There we are. Let's go to page 38. I know I done read this a million times, but y'all please be patient for the new people. Here's what it says. The sons of a widow. Well, the widow has already been established as Typhoon, the great mother, the celestial ship of the north. The sons, how many sons? 7. The Great Bear, the first stars, right? But anyway, let's keep going. The sons of a widow woman are the only supreme beings. Only supreme beings. In religion, y'all will call that gods or Elohim, right? Are the only supreme beings of whom can stand in the form of a cross. Stand in the form of a cross, 5-pointed star, and in a straight line, whether standing erect or lying down. Listen. When her sons are lying asleep, and our people are dead to sleep right now, totally knocked out right now, right? They are lying on a dead level, on a civilly dead level, on a culturally dead level. Civil liter mortuus. When the sons are lying down, they are lying on a dead level. And when standing erect, they are perpendicular at right angle of 90 degrees of their previous position on the dead level. That makes sense, right? You're laying in your bed, your head, what does C and Bay tell us? Well, let's read it. When sons stand erect, when you stand up on your 2 feet, whether you got your arms out like a cross, right? Your legs closed, arms out like a cross, or legs open, arms open like a 5-pointed star, or legs down to your side, or arms on your side and your legs closed. When you're standing on your own 2 feet, when sons stand erect, their head represents the North Pole, the North Celestial Pole. Their head, there it is, y'all. Y'all see that star in the middle? Y'all see that star in the middle? That's the North Celestial Pole. The North Star. Y'all see that? When sons stand erect, their head represents the North Pole and their feet represents the South Pole. Y'all heard? Noble Drew Ali said, go back to that old time religion. This is it. You're already in the religion of now. The solar or ecliptical zodiac projection. And I'm not talking about drawing back to nature. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the religions that have been crafted off of that template. So we are already in that. When Noble Drew Ali said those words, those all have been crafted from the solar zodiac projection. Each and every last one of them. Notice what he says. He continues. When lying on a dead level, there, that's the sun's heads, represents east. What is in the east? What's in the east, y'all? The vernal equinox. The Lamb of God, Aries. So they're lying asleep, dead, civilly dead, with their head, what, y'all? In Aries, which is the Lamb of God. Jesus is the Lamb of God. They're asleep in one of these solar religions. Clear? And not only that, but the solar zodiac projection was brought into being through violence and corruption. Absolutely. Through violence and corruption. It was through violence and corruption and deceit. Terrorism, warfare, that the circumpolar zodiac projection of the Sabian Moors was erased from the minds of the people. And anybody caught living that lifestyle was put to death or punished. I'm getting all of that out of this book. Okay? And it is what it is. Right? Listen, when lying on a dead level, there, that is the sun's head represents the east and their feet represents the west. What's the west, y'all? The west is Libra, the scales of justice. See, justice, when it's administered, can be extremely painful. So because our ancestors started breaking the law, living outside of harmony with nature, the circumpolar zodiac projection, nature punished our people, not as a being mean and I want to hurt you type of thing. No, corrective action to get your attention, to get you to change your behavior. That's what it was, and that's what it still is. But our people, they love religion, and they're married to the solar zodiac projection. So when Noble Drew Ali told us to go back to that old time religion, okay, our religion is that old time religion. In other words, not religion where you're worshiping external deities, but it's where you're keeping time. You know what time it is. What time is it? Well, I pay attention to nature. I live in harmony with nature, right? Y'all know? Do y'all know what the teraphim is? Y'all know teraphim? I learned this recently. Teraphim is actually watching time, or not the image of time. The image of time, that's what teraphim is. So when you hear about the prophets and their teraphim, you know, they're going to see what the teraphim will reveal. You know what they're talking about? The stars, the position of the stars relative to each other, and what that translates into in terms of events and activities on planet Earth. It's all in this book. This is The Celestial Ship of the North, Volume 1 by E. Valencia Stratton. Y'all can get it. I keep meaning to put the link in the description area. Okay? Published in 1927. I'm not trying to hide this from you. I want everybody to know. He continues, these two positions of suns form the universal cross. One laying down with his feet in Libra and his head in Aries, and then one standing up with his head in the celestial, where his head becomes the celestial North Pole and his feet become the celestial South Pole. That's the cross, y'all. That's the cross. And the solstitial lines are the four corners. And the cherubim between the four corners. Y'all know the cherubim between the four corners goes back to the celestial ship of the North, goes back to, I believe it's two stars in the Great Bear. But we'll get to that as we go through this. That's the two cherubim, all of that, right? The cherubim, and then with the Most High in the middle, or I'm gonna paraphrase, God between the two cherubim, Ezekiel 1 verse 7 through 11, Revelation chapter 4, something like that. Yes, that's a remix from the circumpolar zodiac projection. Now y'all see why, someone told me this book was banned in the U.S. until the 90s. I don't know if that's true, but let's keep it moving. When suns stand erect, their heads represent. Now, if you're standing erect, that means if Hiram Abiff stands up erect, that means he's resurrected himself from his shallow grave, right, y'all? He's resurrected himself from the shallow grave. If he's laying down in his shallow grave still, that means he's what? Dead in the eyes of the law. He's civil liter mortuus. And the curses or punishments of Deuteronomy chapter 30 are being implemented on him. Not to be mean, but that's just cause and effect relationship of nature. Hey, let me get your attention. Wake up. Stop doing that. Live right. What's living right? Live in harmony with nature. Right? I'm trying to tell you what time it is. When lying on a dead level, their head represents the east and their feet represents the west. These two positions of sun form the universal cross, which represents latitude. Do y'all know that the way y'all Google search it, go on YouTube. The North Star and the angle relative to where you are represents latitude. Did y'all know that? Represents latitude, north and south, and longitude, east and west. This fact makes Waman, the celestial ship of the north, Typhoon, and suns, those 7 stars, the great I am in life, creation and perfection. Okay, so I would not say creation. I would say, but I understand why he says creation, maybe because that's what people relate to. I would say the bringer forth, or the reproduction, or what, the transformation, something that speaks to the second law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed, because there is no creation other than what? The hybrid, y'all, or hybrids. Everything else is just a reformation from one body to another. Okay, because energy, consciousness cannot be created or destroyed. It only transforms. All right. Second law of thermodynamics. Okay, and perfection. In other words, the foundation of geometry. Absolutely. Okay, so we're dealing with angles. The 4 corners, the perimeter that was drawn around the celestial north and celestial south pole. Okay. The longitudinal, well, the circle 7, right? That cross. These establish angles, triangles, all types of shapes by which you can measure and find location, and then you can create time. Let me show y'all the equation for time. This is like high school. Is it high school or college, y'all, where we learn about, I don't even remember. I don't remember if it was high school or college, maybe both. Maybe first year college. I don't remember. Hold on. High school and first year. Maybe high school, maybe junior high. Here's time. Can y'all see it? Okay, y'all. See, there never was a time when man was not. Time equals distance divided by speed. So you use geometry. Right? So it's through geometry that time is created. These revolutions, cycles of what, y'all? Cycles of time. Everybody see it? I hope y'all understand. I hope I'm making myself clear. If you don't understand, it's probably my fault for not speaking more clearly or being a better teacher. But I'm doing my best in this moment. Okay? All right, y'all. Very basic if you had a college education or if you paid attention in high school. Very basic, right? Okay? And our ancestors didn't make religion worshiping external deities. We use this as a science to navigate and to live happy and fulfilling lives. That's how we kept time. Okay? Until some vicious, ignoble jerks came along and decided that they wanted to end that. Y'all know who was involved? It was around the time of minis, and it was Ra. It was Ra who brought in this violence, bloodshed, and warfare that led to the elimination through terrorism and warfare of the celestial zodiacal projection. Our history and culture to be replaced by the solar zodiac projection, Ra, the worship of the sun. The worship of the sun, keeping time by the sun. So what has happened, y'all? What has happened? So they have encoded and embedded celestial energy into their solar religions by matching them up with celestial equivalents. Y'all heard me? So if they did that, what do we need to do? We just need to go back to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, which is what Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us. He said, if I could just get you Moors to start thinking again, you free yourself. And so what I'm asking everybody to do is study astrotheology. Study the devil's pulpit. Study, in fact, y'all don't gotta watch the videos that I've done. But I have some books in there that are incredible. I didn't write them, but I'm teaching them, right? You need a fairly high reading comprehension level to make it through the devil's pulpit. You can go through the Gospel and the Zodiac. All the books I've gone through. Once you get a firm foundation of that, or even if you, heck, if you just want to jump right into the celestial ship of the north, jump right into the celestial ship of the north. But you're not going to have the whole story. Okay, you won't have the foundation to see the bullshit, to see the BS. Okay? But you must make your way through the clock. Oh, the clock of destiny, y'all. Clock, time. Y'all see that? Time, clock, time, clock of destiny. He's talking about keeping time. So are you keeping time? Meaning the mindset of your ancient foremothers and forefathers by the circumpolar zodiac projection, the celestial ship of the north? Or are you keeping time by the solar zodiac projection? Is your head still in Aries? Still in the Lamb of God? Or has Hiram Abiff, have you the more, stood up erect? And now your head is the celestial North Pole. The mindset of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. And your feet are the celestial South Pole. Now remember, it is the Great Bear in the north, and its relative position, along with Sirius the Dog Star, I'll explain that later, which is how we know what season it is. And ain't nothing changed significantly. But y'all know that when the consciousness of the people change, nature actually expresses that. Y'all know when our consciousness fell, they call that the original fall of man. And it is said, and I speculated on this years ago. If you were in my classes, you would know this. But I speculated that at one point the whole earth was a paradise. And, well, it doesn't matter. Let me not waste time on that. But our consciousness, living out of harmony with nature, in religion we say breaking the Most High's commandments, affects nature, climate and weather, storms and flooding, the angle of the Earth's axis. See, the change in the angle of the Earth's axis represents the fall or the original fall of man. Absolutely, indeed. This is what accounts for the angle of the ecliptic, changing from 0 to 23.5 or 23 point whatever they say it is now, which accounts for the 4 seasons in North America. So make all of these correlations, integrate all of these sciences, and you come to one conclusion. And I'll let you decide that conclusion for yourself. All right? Read The Clock of Destiny, Volume 1 and 2. And understand. And, you know, it's not for me. People have been doing this in the public longer than I have. And I don't want to step on anybody's toes. And I'm not trying to go against anybody. Okay? So those of you who are teachers, don't take it the wrong way. All right? But take a look. Is this the circle with its 7 stars? Circle 7? Y'all remember the words? I don't know if it's the Nation of Islam. I remember, I said this a million times. When I was a little boy, my stepfather, LB, he was in the Nation. And I remember him saying that Elijah Muhammad was in a spaceship in the triple blackness of space. And that didn't make any sense to me at all. Never did. Until I realized that the spaceship they must be talking about is the celestial ship of the north. And the triple blackness of space must be the northern circumpolar zodiac projection. This is it right here. He's saying that's where he's at with the Great Mother, with Typhoon. In other words, he returned back to where he came from. Y'all heard? That's what he said. So that circle, all the way up to the north, is above the circle that's associated with the solar zodiac projection, with the solstice, with this winter and summer solstice and the equinoctial points. This, okay? So is that an additional aspect of Circle 7? Or is that the initial Circle 7 with its 4 corners? It's not for me to decide. This is something for our elders to decide. You know, I would defer to them. But it certainly has to be considered. Y'all see it? This is at a lower elevation, north, and south. These are the 4 corners. The 4 corners relative to the earth. And again, as I said earlier, the celestial north and the celestial south are much, much higher and lower in elevation. Let me just recap that before I get into the work. Let me recap it. The abyss in Egypt. This is going back to the celestial ship of the north, page 11. Isn't it interesting, page 11? The two columns, right? The two columns, the two contracts, the two covenants, y'all. The vernal equinox and the fall equinox. The two columns. Jachin and I forgot the other one. It escapes me. But the covenant of labor and the covenant of work. 11. The two columns. The abyss in Egypt is the name of the north. The north circumpolar region of space. The North Pole, North Celestial Pole. And the original mother of this abyss, the abyss is space, right? Celestial space, or the celestial ocean, was called Typhoon. Typhon. The mother of beginnings. I'm going to restate what I said earlier. The mother of beginnings, the beginning, let me restate that. Hermetically speaking, the universe exists in the mind of the all. All is mind. The universe exists in the mind of the all. Each of the 6 other Hermetic laws emanate from the law of mentalism. Mother of beginnings is the first law that was extracted from the law of mentalism. In religion, y'all would say God extracted the Holy Spirit, who is feminine, right? And then they created a son through immaculate conception. That's what y'all would say. Hermetically, the mental law of gender was extracted, and its function was to give birth or to form. Okay, to form things. It was a bringer forth. And in that function, again, it is said to be a woman, allegorically, because we're talking about energy, celestial energy. It cannot be a physical woman. Y'all see it? Now, the other 6 Hermetic laws emanate also from the law of mentalism. So now you got 7. 7 laws. 7 Hermetic laws. Okay? So the mother of beginnings, the mother of the fields of heaven, the mother of revolutions, the mother of time cycles, the clock of destiny. The clock of destiny. As well as mother of gods and men. Mother of gods and men, y'all. She was later made goddess of the constellation of the Great Bear. She was later made, not initially, later. Who made her goddess of the Great Bear? Was it the pharaonic pharaohs, the Kemetic pharaohs? Who made her goddess of the Great Bear? Mother goddess. And her first son was called Sut, the dog star in the south. It is here in the mystical allegory, born amongst the stars, that we find the origin of the Immaculate Conception. The mother was called the old woman. Indeed, she was called the widow, y'all. And we Moors are therefore called what? Sons of a widow. Okay? We're called sons of a widow. Why? Well, she doesn't have a father. Nobody knows where she comes from, but we know, right? This is all dealing with the Hermetic laws. She, the Great Mother, was extracted from consciousness. Mentalism, the law of mentalism. Because she was the first of all creation. And the world had been made for her. From this early beginning developed the so-called Typhonian religion. Okay, so actually you can read this to understand that things started to go down. This is just one way of looking at it. Things started to go down when they started worshiping external gods. Okay? Which, with its types, is the oldest religion of all. Y'all see that? Now, let's keep going. Boy, y'all need to read page 11 on your own because there's much more there. Even there's a reference to Jehovah, the Tetragrammaton, initially being feminine. For you Hebrew Israelites. But of course, it's not talking about feminine as in a fleshly woman. It's talking about a predominance, because it's celestial, right? A predominance of feminine energy. Okay. So y'all, where are we? What page are we on? Oh, we're on page 13. But if y'all have any questions or comments about Circle 7, any speculations or whatever, y'all let me know, okay? I would love to see what y'all think about Circle 7. Whether or not Circle 7 is the celestial North Pole. Let me show it again. The revolutions, right? Because I mean, to me it's just obvious, but maybe I'm off. But to me it's just plain as day. To me, this is just plain as day. There are those revolutions, right? That first revolution is one cycle of time. Second revolution, another cycle of time, right? The Great Mother. The Great Bear, 7 stars, right? Composed of 7 great stars. And they ruled the world. Everything emanates from that. Not just how to tell time. Everything. So, to me, this seems like Circle 7. I'm not saying that the current understanding that we have of the circle representing rather a circle drawn around the solstitial and the equinoctial points with the horizontal. Let me just show it. I'm not saying that that's wrong. Maybe that's a part of it. I'm saying that this, in my opinion, must be added to it. Hold on. I'm trying to keep my phone from falling. I don't want to break it again. Y'all see? And that bright star in the middle, y'all, that's you more when you stand up. That's when your head becomes the North Pole or the North Celestial Pole. That's when you take on the mindset of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. If that's not conclusive, I don't know what is. But let's keep it going. Oh yeah. Page 12, yeah. Check this out. You know what? I'm gonna go back to page 10 because I want y'all to see the 4 corners. So page 11, rather. Page 11. Let's start with the next paragraph. We read we read from one mother, the universe was born. This was the mother Typhon, a primordial figure of power. So Typhon is the Holy Spirit, y'all, is the ship of the north, is hermetically mental gender. A very ancient form of Typhon was the water horse, the quote-unquote bearer of the waters, which was the hippopotamus. Well, why, right? Why the hippopotamus? This animal has 4 toes on each of its 4 feet. Clearly, y'all representing what? The winter solstice, fall equinox, winter solstice, and spring equinox, or the 4 corners. Okay, 4 toes, 4 legs, 4 corners. Okay, it says here, and therefore was considered a type of the 4 corners of the earth. And therefore was considered a type of the 4 corners of the earth. The earliest types were also feminine. Y'all hear that? The earliest types were also feminine. But don't get confused. Not a fleshly woman. Feminine mental energy, the law of gender, a preponderance of, let me use simple English, more feminine energy than masculine energy present, okay? So the earliest types were always feminine and were represented as animals. See, animals, zodiac, zoo. Right? Zoo. In fact, hold on, y'all. Let me show you. I'm getting the sniffles all of a sudden, y'all. Okay, take a look. Zoo. Etymology of zoo. Etymology of prefix zoo. Zoo, word forming element meaning animal, living being. Zoo, zodiac. You look at the zodiac, it's animals, right? And hybrids. So Virgo is a hybrid. Bird's wing, birds are animals, and a woman. And then there's Aquarius, which is a androgynous man, a hybrid. Okay, y'all? An hermaphrodite. From Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27, created by the Jacobian experiments and all of that. That's one level of the story. One level of the story. But the rest are animals, complete animals, like Leo, Scorpio, right? Capricorn is also a hybrid. Capricorn is a goat and a fish. Right, y'all? So zoo, zodiac, do y'all know kingdom? Kingdom also refers back to animals. Kingdom, yes, when you go into that word, it refers back to animals. This is why Jesus said, "Our Father, let thy kingdom come." He was referencing the zodiac. But anyway, let's keep it going. So the earliest types were represented as animals or having the property of animals. Jehovah, Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yahu, the Tetragrammaton, who at first was considered female. Who at first was considered female. Are y'all starting to see a pattern here? So what these perverts have done They've taken the Hermetic laws and acted them out in the flesh. So you have man on man now. Y'all see what I'm saying? Man on man. They made this tetragrammaton deity a man, didn't they? See, transsexual. A tranny. Ooh, y'all might get mad at that if I say the tetragrammaton is a tranny. Let me show it so nobody gets angry at me. So y'all don't say I'm tripping, okay? There you have it. Y'all read the sentence. This is page 11. Jehovah, who was first considered a female. So if he's first a female, now he's a male, that's a tranny. Now y'all see why these perverts are so into transvestitism. Y'all read it for yourself. And circulate this to your Hebrew Israelite teachers. Not as a way to degrade them, but I would really like to know what their doctrine is on this topic. How do they account for this? Okay. Not only was Jehovah female, he was also represented as a type of animal. And by the rabbins, by the rabbis, so we know already we're dealing with religion. We're dealing with Judaism, not the nation, not the bloodline, not the Sabian Moors, who are the bloodline house of Yasharal. We're dealing with religion, imposters. Jeremiah 8, verse 8. And by the rabbins was known by the mystical name of the four letters JHVH or YHVH, right? Their tetragrammaton. So that's where you get into Adonai and all of that. Okay? Y'all see? So when you're dealing with the deities, it's Yahu, Yahweh, Baali, but astro-theologically, all of those deities represent the S-U-N, sun. Okay? In other words, it's a mind, F-U-C-K. In other words, it's a hustle. It's a trick bag. Y'all see it? Where Jesus is the devil, or Jesus is God and God is the devil. Y'all see it? And look at tetragrammaton. I did a video on this about a year ago. Look at the tetragrammaton. Let's look at that. Y'all see where it says tetra? You see where it says tetra? Tetra means 4. Gram. You see it's a double M, so you can strike one of the M's. So gram, as in what, y'all? Grammar, letters. 4 letters. And do y'all see atun? Aten? Hold on, let me cover it up. Y'all see Aten right there? Hold on. My camera is reversed, so the image on my camera is reversed. Y'all see Aten? The deity Aten? At the end? Aten is the sun god. Aten, Aton, Atun. All right? So the 4 letters, the 4 pictographs of Atan, the sun god. Aten, Atan, whatever. You throw any vowel in there you want to. That's your tetragrammaton. The portrayal of a coming from a woman. Note that. The earliest types were always feminine. A primordial, so we're talking about the mother typhoon. A very ancient form of typhoon was the water horse, which was represented as a hippopotamus. And then what does it say? It continues, the earliest types were always feminine, represented by animals, and the example that it gives of a feminine representation of Mother Typhoon is Jehovah, a feminine animal, who's now presented as a man, masculine. That's transgender. To me, that's a tranny. But of course, we're dealing with celestial energy. But that would explain why those people are so much into trannies, right? Okay, not just their own ill-mannered nature, but it's also a religious component in that. And for those who are not religious, it's also what they think is natural, man on man, okay? And they emulate it. So let's keep going. The portrayal of a woman arching over the earth and resting her hands and feet, we see that in ancient Kemet, right? The woman leaning over, arching over, y'all remember that? Represents the four corners, or, now here it is, the four corners or the four cardinal points. That's where I got that from. So y'all take a look. We got all of this on the public record now. Y'all see that? So that woman arching over, that image that we see in the temple in ancient Kemet, represents the four corners. And what are the four corners? The four corners are the four cardinal points. The summer solstice, the autumn or fall equinox, the winter solstice, and the spring or vernal equinox. Those are the four cardinal points, which are the four corners, or the four corners of the earth, or the four corners of space. Y'all see it? And hence, when we look at, y'all, I hope I'm not beating a dead horse, but I easily get fixated. But here we are. Y'all see it? These are the four corners. Those cardinal points, those are the four corners. Okay, so do we need to expand our understanding of Circle 7 to include the celestial north, its revolutions, its cycles of time, and those 7 stars that the celestial ship of the north produced first, right? The first of the productions, from which everything else comes, and from which our ancestors kept time. Had nothing to do with religion, but we created stories as teaching tools. And then those stories were then corrupted into mythologies and religions. And this correlates with the Clock of Destiny by C.M. Bay. I've already shown you that. Now let's keep it going. The zodiac, we're on page 12. The zodiac was given as a human female figure. The zodiac was given as a human female figure, and upon this, the astrological chart was founded. I'm curious. I'm very, very curious. Because I haven't seen the image. I haven't seen the image of a zodiac as a female figure. That's a whole zodiac as one female figure. Unless I'm not understanding this correctly. And the astrological chart was built on that female figure. Where's that chart? Where's that image of this initial zodiac? The only zodiac I've seen, y'all, is a celestial or ecliptical zodiac projection. I haven't seen good images of the circumpolar zodiac projection. You'll only see the celestial north and celestial south. But there's no emphasis given to it. And it was a female figure. And upon that image of the female figure zodiac, the astrological chart was founded. So now, it seems to me that we need to find that female figure, that first zodiac of this female figure, and start making our astrological charts after that. Now, y'all religious people might say, what? Astrological charts? Oh, you of the devil. No. Go back to the meaning of teraphim. It means an image of time. And when the priest wanted to know something, what did they do? They checked the teraphim, right? In other words, they checked the image of time. Where do you get that image? The North Celestial Pole. In other words, you are literate in reading the position of the stars, of the constellation, the Great Bear, and all of that, and understanding what it means. That's right there in the book of the law. Okay, now let's continue. A tomb, the first Adam, is called in the book of the dead. Listen, y'all, in the book of the dead, what year was the book of the dead written? We need an estimated year. Was it during during the period of the pharaohs, non-dynastic and dynastic? It was called in the book of the dead. The mother, so Atum, the first Adam, was the mother goddess of time. The mother goddess of time. So this is not talking about a fleshly man. This is celestial, not physical. All beginnings were founded on the feminine. All beginnings were founded on the feminine. Now, remember, we're still talking celestial. We're still talking celestial. Here we are. Page 12, next paragraph. The constellation of the Great Bear was known as the Typhonian Thigh. Y'all got that? The quote-unquote thigh of the north. So the thigh of the north is the Great Bear. The birthplace of the beginnings among the stars. The birthplace of the beginnings among the stars. In our Bible, we read, quote unquote, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north. Of the north. What's that? The Garden of Eden. What's that? The celestial north. The circumpolar zodiac. Sais by the Egyptians, right, y'all? That's Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 14 through 15. Y'all read this. See, this is referencing, in my opinion, back to the clock of destiny. Second paragraph, y'all read that, please. Okay, y'all, pause it on the replay and read it. So again, y'all, main point of this paragraph, the constellation of the Great Bear was known as the Typhonian Thigh, the Thigh of the North. The Typhonian Thigh, the Thigh of the North, is the Great Bear, which is, y'all, what did it say? The birthplace of the beginnings among the stars. In other words, the stars were formed there first. The stars were formed there first. Keep that in mind. Remember what we read in the Clock of Destiny, okay? Let's continue. The original mother Typhon, quote unquote, Lady of the Heavens, was mother of the male child. Now we're going to get into what the Catholic Church has remixed into an incestuous relationship. The Lady of the Heavens was mother of a male child known as Sut, who grew up to be her consort. Today they would say her husband. Now remember, we're only talking about energy here, the Hermetic laws. We're talking about energy, celestial energy. This is not fleshly. It was remixed in Christianity into a fleshly thing with their deities. Let's listen. So her son, her firstborn son, grew up to be her consort / husband, and who eventually became his own father. So Sut is born without a father, grows up, marries his mother, and eventually becomes his own father. That doesn't make any sense if you think about flesh and blood. It can only make sense celestially, right? Why? Because we're talking about energy and stories. Let's continue. And who is Sut, who eventually became his own father, in the character of the generator. So the father is the generator. Okay? The father becomes a generator. He grows up to become his own father in the character of the generator. Quote unquote. The oldest permutation known in theogony became apparent at this point. Well, here it is, y'all. Here it is. This is the origin of this stuff in religion, which is that of the man. Which is that of the son, the S-O-N son, becoming his own father. This is Christianity. Can I have ice? Thank you. Can I have ice, please? Can I have ice, please? Okay. He grows up to become his own father, and the mother being generated by the son. So now, y'all see that? So, okay, thanks a lot, man. Sut is birthed by Typhon without a father, no husband. So therefore Typhon is what, y'all? A widow. A widow. That's the old lady. She gives birth to a son without a father. The son is fatherless. The son grows up and takes Typhon, his mother, as his wife, as his consort. And then, as it says, he becomes his own father. He becomes his own father. And in the role of his own father, he becomes the generator. What does he generate? He generates his mother. Let me say it again. He generates his mother. That makes absolutely no sense if you talk about flesh and blood. What makes sense if you talk about energy, right? But this is just celestial, and it's a teaching tool. It makes perfect sense. Let's keep going, y'all. Let's keep going. I forgot where I was at. Oh, okay. So it is in this Typhonian religion that we first find the worship of the Virgin Mother and the fatherless child, which later found rather a home in Rome. In other words, the Romans stole that story and remixed it into a incestuous story. But she, that is but Typhoon. But Typhoon came to be portrayed as a male virgin. Y'all hear that? So in Rome, the Roman Catholic Church presented the Great Mother, the Celestial Ship of the North, Typhoon, as a man, a virgin, a man who's a virgin. Or, listen y'all, or maleless. If he's a male but he's maleless, what does that mean? Androgynous. This is why you see pictures of JC looking like a woman. To indicate, why did they do it? Or what's the meaning? To indicate the beginning or creative power on the way toward final fatherhood. In other words, they intentionally destroy the matriarchy. They intentionally destroy the matriarchy. They don't want anybody knowing about Typhoon, the Celestial Ship of the North. Being feminine. They said, and all things emanating from Typhoon. But remember, the first law is mentalism. And Typhoon has her origin from mentalism. Typhoon is the mental law of gender, which is both masculine and feminine energy. Okay, y'all? So in its function as being a producer and reproducer, a bringer forth, that's a function of a woman, like a woman giving birth. And so they corrupted that. Y'all see it? They corrupted that to bring in a patriarchy. Okay? In other words, to change the paradigm of the people. See, this is, let's say this is masculine energy. This is masculine. Let's say this is feminine energy. Or let's say this is feminine energy and this is masculine energy. They're opposite ends of the same pole. So what did they do? They totally reoriented the mindset of the people. Put them on the opposite end of the spectrum. Y'all see that? I want to review something with y'all before we move on. I want this to be clear so that next time you see it, or when you read the Devil's Pulpit, you will understand, because the Devil's Pulpit covers this concept too. You'll understand it when you read it. You won't get stuck. So let's do it again. The original mother, Typhoon, quote unquote, Lady of the Heavens, was mother of the male child known as Soot. That was her first child, y'all, who grew up to be her consort, and who eventually became his own father. Sut becomes his own father in the character of the generator. What did he generate? He generated his own mother. So in other words, now the Father is responsible for creating everything. Whereas in our paradigm, the celestial ship of the north, the circumpolar zodiac projection, all is mind. The universe exists in the mind of the all. And the first law extracted out of mentalism was a law of mental gender, or just gender, which is masculine and feminine energy. And its function is to produce and reproduce, to bring things forth. So therefore it's called a mother. And they hid that. Okay? So in that sense, the celestial ship of the north, who is Typhoon, was the generator. And then the Romans came in and shifted that, made the Father the generator. And how did they do it? They made an androgynous Son of God and androgynous Jesus, who is actually, in fact, an hermaphrodite. Meaning both sex organs present. They said he was a male virgin or male-less, to indicate the beginning or the creating power on the way toward final fatherhood. Y'all see that? Clear? Whereas in our paradigm, Soot was the first son created. But that's just a story, y'all, because we're dealing with celestial things. Soot was just predominantly masculine mental energy. That's all, not flesh and blood, man. Y'all got it? Now, next paragraph. At a far later period, when solar time, i.e. or meaning, time told by the sun sun, took the place of the early Sabian time, open parentheses, time told by the stars, close parentheses. It's page 12. Okay, so Dr. Yasapa is not just talking. I am not just talking. Look at it yourself. Read the first two sentences. Or the first sentence, rather. Hold on. Let me see if I got this in perspective. Y'all know the last time I did this, or the first time I did it, they turned the volume off. Now do y'all see why I'm referencing back to the clock of destiny? The mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers was time told by the stars. We are the Sabian Moors. You see now why C.M. Bay said when the Moor stands up, when Hiram Abiff stands up, when that sun stands up, his head becomes the North Pole, the North Celestial Pole. Meaning he's telling time by the stars and not the sun. And his feet becomes the South Pole. Okay? So the constellations in the north and the south is how we told time, by looking at their positions. Y'all see that? Now, that's why in my mind, I'm thinking circle 7 represents the revolutions, the cycles of time that the Great Bear goes around one revolution, another revolution, around the circumpolar region of space. Circle 7. Maybe it includes what we already know as Circle 7. It's something to be thought about. You know, those who know better than I can speak more intelligently on it. So let's continue. Page 12. At a far later period, when solar time, i.e. time told by the sun at a far later period, when solar time, i.e. time told by the sun, took the place of the early Sabian time. How did it take the place of it? Through violence and warfare, through terrorism. Took the place or replaced through violence and military force, through terrorism, took the place of early Sabian times or Sabian time, not early. This is the way our people had told time since there was a beginning of time. Not early. Okay? But the first or the initial or the only or the truthful way of telling time. Now don't forget about the teraphim. Don't forget about the teraphim. Teraphim provided an image or a picture of time by which you could know the future. And the priest used them. And it was by reading the stars, not by consulting gods, devils, and demons. Okay, y'all? So this is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers being given to us right here. So if you were offended at any point by anything that I said during this video or others on this topic, now you see that there was literally a changing of times and seasons. Okay? So that ancient mindset of our foremothers and forefathers is not solar time. The ancient mindset of our foremothers and forefathers, the Sabian Moors, are Sabian time. Time told by the stars, which is the celestial ship of the north, which is the circumpolar zodiac projection. Let me show it again. And then I'm gonna keep going, y'all. All right. But this is crucial. Please, y'all, share this with your teachers. If you are a teacher, give it some serious thought. Don't condemn me for the things I'm saying. I'm not speaking against the zodiac. But the truth is the truth, and the truth cannot be changed. Okay? Now let's continue. All right? Let's continue. So at a far later period, when solar time, i.e. time told by the sun, took the place of the early or the only way of telling time that there ever was, and the only true way of keeping time, which is Sabian time, which is time told by the stars. The self-creator, notice y'all, the self-creator was made in the image of the male. Forms of worship. This is when, y'all, under the solar zodiac projection. Under the solar zodiac projection, the self-creator was made in the image of a male. In other words, Typhoon was depicted as a man. Forms of worship, this is religion. Forms of worship of this very early religion are somewhat obscure. In other words, they're hiding it. But it did not in any way constitute a mystery of immodesty, for it is known that originally it was pure and beautiful, relating to the mystery of life itself. What is he talking about? He's talking about Sabian culture. Sabian culture. Telling time by the stars. Understanding the future or present conditions or situations through your knowledge of the zodiac. Creating science and technology by observing and studying nature, experimentation, so on and so forth. Science and engineering, law, all of the liberal arts, okay, all of the hard sciences. That's what we did. And it was nothing degrading, no degrading rituals. And it was open. Anybody could learn it, no mysteries. Okay, all of that stuff came with the solar zodiac projection. Let's keep it moving. Nothing impure had ever been connected with it. That's with our Sabian culture. All that was claimed to be obscene and anathematized as unclean was due to other and later interpretations. In other words, during the solar zodiac projection, they disgraced, dishonored, and every other vile thing through lies, intimidation, and manipulation. And what, y'all? Changing history. It represented the naked nature of primal beginnings. He's talking about Typhoon. That's all it represented, was ancient beginnings. The primitive, look at this, y'all. The primitive physiological conception of creative force. Now, y'all tell me, are the Hermetic laws dealing with the forces of the universe? Yes or no? See, we're talking about the Hermetic laws. Not physical things, celestial things, those laws that govern everything in the universe, including the physical. Okay, y'all? So we're dealing with the Hermetic laws. Clearly. There was, in fact, let me see if I can show y'all something. Put it on the record here. Oh, here we go again. So here we go again, yo. Did it come? No, here we go again. This only happens when I'm live streaming, yo. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second. Okay, so principle, I just looked, I don't know what this website is. I'm just going through it, y'all. I'm just going to share it with y'all, okay? So I Google search, what are the Hermetic laws, or just Hermetic laws? So many have, let me show you first. I have not read this, but I don't see any reason why anybody would misrepresent these laws. Okay, so let's go through it. Pause it on the replay and read it. Many have sought to understand the natural laws that govern our universe. Okay? Some say there are 12. So that would be the solar zodiac, right? 12. While others, like Hermes Trismegistus, say there are 7. So Trismegistus explains that the foundational laws of our reality in his 7 Hermetic principles. So he explains these foundational laws of our reality in his 7 Hermetic principles. That's all it is. And then he goes into the principles. So let me see if I can find the list. Let's see if they list them. I guess everyone knows about the Hermetic laws. So here we are, the principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe exists in the mind of the all, or the universe is mental. Okay? So y'all can read up on that on your own. Let's keep it moving. Now let me show y'all the law of gender, since that's what we've been talking about. Now, there's much more to the law of gender when you study this. Okay, much more than, so you really have to go into it, because there's hypnosis and all types of things are involved with this. The great seventh, hold on. So this is Kabbalion.org/KY. Pause it on the replay so you can read it. Everybody see that? So the great seventh Hermetic principle, the principle of gender, embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything. Y'all see why she's called the Great Mother? Okay? That the masculine and feminine principles are ever present and active in all phases of phenomena on each and every plane of life. At this point, we think it well to call your attention to the fact that gender, in its hermetic sense, and sex, in the ordinarily accepted use of the term, are not the same. The word gender is derived from the Latin root meaning to beget, to procreate, to generate. So y'all see that? Remember the generator? To create, to produce, the producer and the reproducer. Y'all remember that? A moment's consideration will show you that the word has a much broader and more general meaning than the term sex. The later sex referring to physical distinctions between male and female living things. Sex is merely a manifestation of gender on a certain plane of the great physical plane, the plane of organic life. We wish to impress this distinction upon your minds for the reason that certain writers who have acquired a smattering of the Hermetic philosophy have sought to identify the seven Hermetic principle with wild and fanciful and often reprehensible theories and teachings regarding sex. Okay, so it's not sex. The office of gender, or the principle of gender, the law of gender, is solely that of creating, bringing forth, right, y'all? Producing, generating, etc. And its manifestations are visible on every plane of phenomena. It is somewhat difficult to produce proofs of this along scientific lines for the reason that science has not yet recognized this principle. I would have to disagree with that as of universal application, but still some proofs are forthcoming from scientific sources. Okay, I'll show that. Y'all can read it, and then I'm going back to the book, okay? So this is the Great Mother, y'all. For me, it's very obvious. Okay? It's involved in creating on all planes. Therefore, it's functioning as a mother. A bringer forth. The one who gives birth. That was attributed now to JC, the Christ figure. So a male virgin, a maleless virgin, as the beginning of the pathway to what, y'all? To what? Fatherhood. I just thought of something. Now, that might have something to do with why the hybrids will say we're not men. Will say the autochthonous Moors are not men. Do y'all see that now? Because from their point of view, fatherhood, men came under the solar zodiac projection. Clear? Because that's the situation they created. Maybe I'm wrong with that, maybe I'm not. It's just a thought that came to my mind. But let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Back to page 12. Back to page 13. Check this out, y'all. Check this out. There was nothing gross in it. This is the circumpolar zodiac, typhoon, the culture. But much that was absorbing in interest. In other words, it was magnificent, great. Listen to this. This religion, listen y'all, this religion, scrap that, this way of life or this binding back to nature, this culture, this lifestyle, finally passed into Judea, making its home in Jerusalem. Oh. Well, we know we're not talking about the bloodline house of Yasharallah because they are Sabian Moors. They already had it. It's dealing with converts. Those who say they are Jews and are not. Quote unquote. The branding, and here we see a pattern of behavior that goes way, way back. Quote unquote, the branding of the SUT, Typhonians as the fatherless ones. Isn't that interesting, y'all? Don't they even now create situations where the autochthonous Moor is unable or incapable of providing for his heirs? And then the heir is what? Said to be fatherless. Quote unquote, the branding of the Typhonians as the fatherless ones, religiously speaking, see y'all, this is Judaism, not the bloodline people. Religiously came through the worship of the mother and the child, who became the harlot of Revelation. Do y'all see that? Typhoon, the celestial ship of the north. Everything was clean and pure. The whole earth was a united brotherhood. The author brings that to our attention in this book. The page number doesn't come to mind right now, but oh, here it is on page 10. It says the religion of the ancient peoples. There was no religion. The culture, the lifestyle, the mindset of the ancient peoples of the Sabian Moors, the Moabites, the autochthonous, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7 peoples, seem to have been one throughout the entire world. A great brotherhood, a universal faith. Now, these hybrids, y'all might get mad at me for this. Now, I'm going to include the Kemetic pharaohs. These hybrids or these giants, maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way it looks for me right now, okay? It appears to me, well, let me keep on this. They branded our lifestyle, our way of keeping time as being what, y'all? The harlot of Revelation. This prostitute who's prostituting herself to the nations. Do you see how disgusting that is? What a sick mind. How sick a mind has to be in order to take someone who's innocent, who has a good reputation, never harmed anybody, something that should be admired and replicated, duplicated. They take that person and destroy their reputation, or take that culture and destroy their reputation. Through what, y'all? Through their use of what, y'all? That magic wand called the pen. That Hollywood called the pen. Jeremiah 8, verse 8. Do y'all see it? They wrote lies in the book of the law. They made Typhon, the celestial ship of the mother, into the harlot of Revelation. And the bastard. And she became the bastard of the Osirians. Now look at this. These are Egyptians, Kemetic people. Read the paragraph. Okay, y'all? Pause it on the replay. Read the last sentence. So I want to keep going. So here we see a pattern of behavior, right? We see a pattern of behavior of slander and libel. Let me show y'all the harlot of Revelation, okay? This is disgusting. And then they got the harlot of Revelation and all of this garbage about, end time prophecy and all of this stuff. And it's just a dang old shame. Revelation chapter 17, the harlot and the beast. So y'all can read this on your own time. I'll read the first couple verses, the first two verses. Revelation 17. One of the seven angels. Oh my gosh. One of the seven angels. Now they're saying it's one of her seven sons. One of the, remember the, I don't know. Go back to my other videos. I think I've done 3, 4, 5, or 6 videos before that. Go over on North, my YouTube channel on North, and you'll be able to see this. The seven sons. One of the seven angels. That's her seven sons. Listen, y'all. One of her own sons, one of the seven angels who had the 7 bowls, came and talked with me, saying to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute who sits on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her sexual immorality." Do y'all see the slander and libel? Then he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness. I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of blasphemous names, having 7 heads and 10 horns. This woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned in gold. Verse 5, on her forehead a name was written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes Do y'all see the slander? Look into the look into the mindset of these hybrids and ask yourself, what the hell is wrong with them? What kind of sick mind would pervert this? Don't think, what's wrong with me, or what did we do to them? Think, what kind of sick person, what is their nature? What kind of sicko would do something like this? That's the question to ask. The mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. Now, if you are a Moor, if you are autochthonous, Genesis chapter 7, or Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, sprung from the soil, thought made manifest. Thought is a function of the mind. Thought made manifest. Remember, everything that is formed, everything that is transformed, the Hermetic law of mental gender is involved with that. Thought made manifest from the soil. So if you are a rightful heir, do you see how they see you? Do you see how they see you? An abomination. They see you as an abomination. And this is why they want to destroy you, but there are more reasons for it than that. But I'm just bringing that up because of the context here. But we'll get into that later. Okay? I saw a woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. They're referencing this solar zodiac projection. Let's move on. Don't ask what's wrong with you. Ask what's wrong with them. Okay? Low vibration, having a bad nature. Okay? I think C.M. Bay calls them no. He says the redhead is the more cantankerous of them, something like that. But they have a bad nature. Why? Because of the animal, the chimpanzee in them. Y'all know chimpanzees are vicious, right? They are vicious. Excuse me. So now we're not only dealing with y'all, the Jews, but who else? The Osirians. The Father, right? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Osiris, Isis, and Horus. The shift had already been made from feminine energy to masculine energy. You see it right there. You see the trinity of those three deities. No longer, because remember, y'all, during the circumpolar zodiac projection, there was no father involved at all. It was just the mother. Okay, so Osiris, this is already part of the takeover, which was done through violence. Page 13, continue. Sut. Sut, son of Typhon, was the name given to the first male ever recognized or known. And though his manifestations were many, his beginning was as Sut, the dog star, as we know it. Okay? So Sut is the dog star. This is the first thing that came into being that was predominantly masculine energy. This is what it's saying. Where was Sut located? In the south, the southern celestial region, the southern celestial pole. Sut ended by becoming the Alpha and Omega of the book of Revelation. Right? Isn't God the Father called the Alpha and Omega? Sut becomes his own father. Sut becomes the generator. Right? And he generates his mother. Right, y'all? Al Shaddai, Adonis, Baal, and others were all personifications of this early son of the first mother. They're all personifications of S-U-T, Sut. Adonis, remember, in its reference to Adonai, in its reference to deity, is the Tetragrammaton, which is a symbolical name of Baal, which all of these astrologically is the S-U-N, sun deity, okay? All right? So all of these are Sut, S-U-T, the dog star. Hence, God, dog star. The anagram of dog is what? God. God is dog spelled backward. Now, go back to the Wizard of Oz. Isn't it interesting how Toto, the dog, pulled the curtain off of the Wizard of Oz? Exposed the Wizard of Oz as being what, y'all? A hybrid. Using what? Using technology. Using technology to do what? What hermetic law? Law of gender, primarily. To do what? Create images and false realities to control what you think and what you do. This is the cuckoo egg, the cuckoo bird's egg, put in another bird's nest concept. Y'all go read the Kabbalion or listen to the audio book on YouTube. It was the dog, Toto. Or Sirius the dog star, the celestial ship of the north, who is Typhoon, her first son, Sut, who pulls the curtain off and exposes the hybrid. Who's using technology, who's using the hermetic law of gender to create images and to scare you to death, to control your behavior and make you do things that you ordinarily wouldn't do. Because you're scared to death and you're living in a false reality. Clear? But it is, again, Toto, the dog, or what? Or what? That old-time religion. That old-time religion. Right? Which is what? Nature. Which is what, y'all? The North Celestial Pole, which is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, which what does what? Allows us to see. Wait, I just thought about this. Which breaks that final chain of JC's curse. I think it's Mark chapter 4. When his apostle said, why do you speak to the people in parables? Why do you speak to them in riddles? And JC said, what do you say? So that although having eyes to see, they will never perceive. Although having eyes to hear, they will never understand. Because if they did perceive and understand, they would have an opportunity, or they could repent. And if they repent, they could be saved. In other words, if they return to that ancient mindset, or that mindset of their ancient foremothers and forefathers, which is the circumpolar zodiac, where their head becomes the north celestial pole and their feet becomes the south celestial pole, where they're standing erect at a 90-degree angle to when they were laying down dead in religion, simply dead in religion, with their head in Aries and their feet in the curses. If they return to the Most High, start following His commandments that were given to Moses today. Y'all remember that? Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14, Deuteronomy 30, the first several verses. He would restore your fortunes, right? The Most High will restore your fortunes. Y'all remember that? To acquire that mindset, go back to that old time religion. Okay? Now you see what's really happening. Just a hybrid using technology to scare you to death and control you. Now you're awake, right? Take back your birthright now. Take back your birthright through nationalization activity. So let me, while I'm doing that, y'all go to enforcetheconstitution.org. They offer civics classes there. So I found that website, and Brother Lamont Maurice-El, Consul General Lamont Maurice-El, competent, and the stuff is real on his website, and it gives a lot of stuff away free. So that's where I got my understanding of civics from, the correct understanding of civics. So, y'all should go there. You should go there. Take back your birthright. Okay. Enforcetheconstitution.org. So let's keep it going, y'all. Listen to this. I got to read this in. So Al Shaddai, Adonis, Baal, and others were all personifications of this early sun, that suit of the first mother, that's Typhon, and originally belonged to her cult, which is the same as that of the Church of Rome today, the worship of the mother and child. This is the same thing that they were doing in Kemet. Same thing that they were doing in Kemet, okay, y'all? By a little searching, many secrets of the ancient cult are recognizable, and explanations given for the so-called orthodox forms of religion today. These are dogmatic belief systems, y'all. Dogmatic religious system, belief system, in contrast to nature and science, all right? The mother and son worship by modern Christians hark back to Typhon in the Egypt above and her son Sut. This virgin mother and the child of heavenly conception were ages old before they became Semitic. They were ages old before they became Semitic. They were also worshipped by the Hyksos, called the Shepherd Kings, of pre-monumental Egypt, who were the rulers of 13,000 years before the time of their first king, Menes. Okay, so the Shus in Har, or Hyksos, were known as the followers of the great Egyptian god Horus. Horus is a sun deity, y'all, with whom mythologically the Israelites were connected. How? How are they mythologically connected to the Hyksos? Well, because Moses took the children of Israel on the Exodus, right? Right? And this is how the story goes. The house of Yasharah, or the Israelites were following the Egyptian deity system or religious system. The Okay? So they were worshiping Baal, the bull. Baal, the bull, which is Taurus. Right? Because the zodiacal age was Taurus. But then when Moses took them out of Egypt, Moses said, well, the zodiacal age is changing. It's changing to Aries. Changing to Aries. So we're going to start worshiping Aries, the sun god. Or in other words, y'all, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this. In other words, the zodiacal age is shifting and we need to shift with it. So let go of that stuff from Egypt. Let it go. But clearly, the Israelites did not want to. Moses came out of the mountain and saw them. They had crafted a golden bull, which is Aries, which is Taurus, the zodiac age of Taurus. They wanted to stay in that. Y'all see it? So when Moses comes out of the wilderness, his head is shining like the sun, right? Some books will say he had horns coming out of his head, horns like the horns of a ram. So Moses brought the people into solar worship. Now this is how the story is told. I don't know if it's true, I wasn't there. But let's keep it going. Not only solar worship, y'all. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I say it anyway. But if my memory serves me correctly, it was Moses who also pushed the people into a paternalistic society. Shifted them away from feminine energy to literally physical man. You know, the physical fleshly man had power. This is according to the story. Okay, y'all? That's according to the story. So let's keep it going. Thus Shus, Enher, and Hekshus were known as the followers of the great Egyptian god Horus, with whom mythologically the Israelites were connected. Horus, again, is the sun deity. And this book says that Moses was the one who brought that in. Okay? When superseded, the Set Typhonians were denounced. So what does it mean when superseded? This is what it means. On page 12, the last paragraph. At a far later period, when solar time, i.e. time told by the sun, took the place of the earlier Sabian time, which is time told by the stars. Okay? So let's go back to page 13. So when that happened, y'all, let's say that transition, when superseded, the Set Typhonians, these were people who were still in the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, still living our culture. They wasn't trying to hear anything about, a father having the power and the father created. They wasn't trying to hear all of that. Okay? They had stuck to the principles of their ancient foremothers and forefathers. Look what happened. When superseded, the Set Typhonians were denounced by those who had come to worship a father and a son instead of mother and son. Of the good Typhonian, it was said, however, quote unquote, hers is a figure so ancient that it belonged to a typology which preceded eschatology and mythology, and of an order set in heaven, listen y'all, for use and not for worship. For use for what? Navigation and all other things that you would do with geometry. For what, y'all? For use and not for worship, not for religion. For use and not for worship, type of time and force. Time, the revolutions, right? The cycles of time. And force, what force? Y'all, forces are natural forces, principles. These are the Hermetic laws. And not for beauty. Not for what, y'all? Not for superficial things. That's on page 13. Let me show you. So you see, y'all, they denounced those of our ancestors who followed our culture. Y'all know denounced is a very polite way of saying killed off, did away with, destroyed their reputation. And how did they do it? Through writing, through political means, through courts, the same way they do it now. Okay, y'all? Page 14. Primitive man. There's no such thing as a primitive man. There is the original man, the autochthonous Moors, the Sabian Moors. Knew nothing. Listen, y'all, knew nothing of the one God of a later religion. We didn't know anything about a solar God, a solar deity. That ain't had nothing to do with us. In all earlier cults, capital G-O-D, God meant the absolute, pervading all places, in and of all, yet none might share his surpassing celestial majesty. It wasn't this one God in a body, and he watching over. It wasn't the sky daddy. It was energy. That's what the author just said. It was energy. Nobody had ever thought of anything like this before. This one God, this solar God. Let's continue. God was not a solitary figure, a silence. See, you don't hear much about the Father in Christianity, do you? You hear about the Son, and then the worship of Mary, right? Quote unquote. He was surrounded by other gods of what, y'all? Light. Light. In other words, angles of light, angels, messengers. Angles of light, sunlight, starlight, cosmic energy, okay, y'all? Beauty, purity, and divineness. Immortal in their essence. Obviously right, y'all. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. Right? Hence, when the first law of mentalism, the Hermetic law of mentalism, it transformed itself to produce what? The Great Mother, which is the Hermetic law of gender. And then it made other transformations to produce the other 6 Hermetic laws. Clear? That's the second law of thermodynamics. Let's continue. Immortal in their essence. That's these other lowercase gods, right? For it emanated what, y'all? From the Most High. These are the 6 other Hermetic laws. He was immortal. He was surrounded by other gods of light, beauty, purity, and divineness, immortal in their essence, for it emanated from the Most High. There you go. The other 6 Hermetic laws emanates from the first, which is mentalism. There's a footnote. That was taken from the Book of God by Kinley. Let's continue. But all were encompassed by his love, a sort of all, a source of all. Y'all see that? A source of all. All is mind. The universe exists in the mind of the all. Okay, y'all? The second spirit of God, y'all, the second great power that began to exist when God developed beauty out of himself was the mother. The mother first and foremost, preceding any knowledge of that of one God. So here the author is telling us that this source that they call God is actually what, y'all? The first law, mentalism. All is mind, the universe exists in the mind of all. And then the second spirit of God, the second great power that began to exist when God developed beauty out of himself. The law of mentalism extracted the second law. I'm sorry, not the second law, but extracted the Hermetic law of gender out of itself. In religion, y'all say God extracted the Holy Spirit out of himself. Okay, does everyone understand what the Spirit is saying to the congregation? The second Spirit of God, the second great power that began to exist when God developed beauty out of himself was the mother. The mother first and foremost, everywhere, preceding any knowledge of that one God. And that one God is Yeshua's son, y'all. She was nature, the Spirit of God, the virgin spirit of ineffable loveliness. And as such, received worship. This is footnote 2. Let's read it. The Egyptians symbolically named God the quote-unquote ancient darkness. Wow, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? I got to read that again. The Egyptians symbolically named God. Now, y'all know God is not an ancient term. That's like Germanic, right? That's medieval times. So one, it's not true. Because you cannot mix terms. You cannot take terms from one dispensation of time and put it in another. That's deceptive. You cannot do that. The Egyptians symbolically named God the quote-unquote ancient darkness. Let's correct that. Let's correct it. The Kemites said that the source is ancient darkness. It's ancient darkness. So we have confirmation on that. When on what page was it, y'all? On page 9. She has been imaged as intensely black, her bosom bare, crowned with a golden pyramid, about which twine an immense serpent. Night and darkness belong as symbols of very great antiquity, ancient darkness. A superabundance of darkness metaphysically is light. Darkness adopted illumination. Darkness adopted light in order to make itself visible. Okay, y'all? So let's go back to the footnote. Of this darkness, H.P. Blavatsky writes, quote unquote, darkness is the root of light. Darkness is the root of light. Light is matter. Darkness is pure spirit. Darkness, metaphysically, is absolute light. Light is merely a mass of shadows, as it can never be eternal, and is simply an illusion or Maya. So now we have to examine something, y'all. JC the Christ figure said, I am the truth and the light. Anyone who wants to come to the Father must come through me. This gives new meaning to that. Because if he's the truth and the light, he cannot be the original source, because the original source is ancient. It's darkness. And of course, he's talking about sunlight, y'all. He's talking about sunlight. Because remember, this is the solar zodiac projection. And according to the story, when there's sunlight, especially at the summer solstice, at the equator or within the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, when the sun is at a 90-degree angle to anybody in that area, to the equator, there's no shadows cast, so you can see everything. So yeah, you can't lie. You will be seen. Y'all see it? This is according to the concepts of the solar zodiac projection, the ecliptical zodiac projection. JC says, I am the truth and the light. Anybody who wants to come to the Father must come to me. And I always thought that don't really make sense, because if he's saying he's the Father, how is it that they need to come to him to get to the Father when he's also the Father? Don't make sense. When you look at it in terms of these being, I guess, the same deity, or Trinity rather. All right, y'all? So light comes from darkness. Darkness is pure spirit. But JC says he's the truth and the light. So I don't know, y'all think about that. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? It's very interesting, right? JC says he's the truth. I am the truth. But some persons will say, I am the truth and the life. L-I-F-E. Anyway, let's keep it going. Serpent worship, tree worship, and water worship were all feminine. The serpent slawed periodically as a feminine type. And the bearing tree with its fruit was feminine, and water was feminine, and the source of life, the mother. So now I'm thinking about the tree in the Garden of Eden, right? The tree of life. Motherhood, antedated by eons of time, any knowledge of fatherhood that could have been identified as such, and even among the original 7 gods. Later, planets. There was no mention of fatherhood. Y'all see that? So we're here. Hold on. We're here. Y'all take a look at this, okay? We'll put it in the record. Y'all ask your teachers, if you're not a teacher, ask your teacher to give you an understanding of this according to their doctrine. So there are those 7 gods. Okay? So this is referring back to the celestial ship of the north, the circumpolar region. The north circumpolar region. Okay, y'all? referring back to the Great Bear, those 7 stars. But let's keep it going. The Hindus, the Hindu initiates whose vision was sublime, recognized God, capital G-O-D, as y'all, the one who is all. Recognize God as the one who is all. Okay? This is the Hermetic law of mentalism. All is mind, the universe exists in the mind of the all. That's the source. Y'all see it? Everybody see it? Okay, so the Hindus recognize capital G-O-D as the one who is all. In other words, mentalism, law of mentalism, Hermetic law of mentalism, which we are apt to veil in the present era. In other words, which is being hidden in the present era of time. In other words, in the solar zodiac projection, it is hidden. In that far off beginning, everything was Sabian, i.e., belonging to the stars. It was only later when the Sabian, open parenthesis, stars, or star rather, close parenthesis, and then lunar, open and close parenthesis, moon periods, had made way or had been destroyed, removed from the mindset of the people, had made way for the solar or sun periods that our male element appears. Y'all see that? Here we go. Y'all read that. So the solar zodiac projection, y'all, cannot be the ancient mindset, the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. It cannot be. They disrespect feminine energy. They disrespect the matriarchy in the solar zodiac projection. Y'all see it? It cannot be. Let me show you the page number. Y'all see the page number? Page 14. I have to read it again. In that far off beginning, everything was Sabian Moors, i.e. belonging to the stars. So the Sabian Moors do what, y'all? Belong to the stars. Isn't that what CMB said? That we reviewed a little while ago? We're dealing with the woman that he talked about and her sons, who are supreme beings. See, there never was a time when man was not. Man is thought made manifest from the soil. Thought is a function of the mind. Even the Hindu initiates recognize God as that one who is all. Study yourself, Moors. Find out who you are. Okay? So we are the supreme beings. Right? We are thought, a function of the mind, made manifest from the soil. The rightful heir. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Right? We're made manifest from the soil. Soil is land. Moors means land. Land means more. We're the same. Okay, we're a manifestation of the land. And it's a well-established principle in law. It is a maxim of law that land and law are inseparable. And that land is the substance and subject matter of the law. That mores and law are inseparable. And that mores are the substance and subject matter of the law. Period. In that far-off beginning, everything was Sabian, i.e. belonging to the stars. It was only later when Sabian, star, and then lunar moon periods had made way or were replaced through violence and warfare, terrorism, were replaced by the solar periods, by the solar zodiacal periods, that a male element appears. That's when the religious stuff appeared. That's when the solar religions appeared. And the templates for each of these religions, again, is the solar zodiac projection. And introduces the male and female as separate deities. There were no male deities in the circumpolar zodiac projection. For in the beginning, all was considered in double aspect, male and female, by Jung. That might be confusing, right, y'all? That might be confusing. What is the law of gender? Well, imagine a straight line with positive on one end and negative on the other. That's all it is. Where does it become positive and where does it become negative? It's the same or very similar to the law of polarity, right? The great law of polarity. But I would be naive to say that they misunderstood this, because these are our ancestors who started the circumpolar zodiac, who started the solar zodiac projection. They knew what they were doing. Me personally, I think it was Yakub. So they perverted the Hermetic law of gender. They perverted it. Okay? They perverted it. They perverted it. Okay? When at the advent of the solar period, okay, so that means when at the beginning, when they had done away with the last vestiges of the circumpolar zodiac, those of us who were keeping our culture, following the Most High's laws, when they did away with it, and then they established the solar zodiac projection. When at the advent of the solar period, the solar zodiac projection, the worship of the fatherhood in heaven became established. Y'all, this is the dark priesthood. Okay, this is the dark priesthood. Then time was reckoned by the SUN sun instead of as formerly by the stars and the moon. Let me go back to CM Bay. I hope I can find it. I think it's volume 1, where he talks about the lunar, is it the lunar man, y'all? Y'all remember Noble Drew Ali, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, said the half has not been told. The half has not been told. Okay? So he said, if I told y'all everything, you stay asleep or you go back to sleep. Hold on, y'all. Here it is. Clock of Destiny, Volume 1, page 25. The intellectual zodiac, the interpretation of the moon and the 12 signs. Take time out, study for yourself. Okay? This is what the paragraph reads. Bear in mind that the interpretation of the moon passing through the 12 signs applies to daily activities as well as birth. The interpretation of the moon in each sign is also as important to woman as the interpretation of the sun. Now, I take that to be, y'all might disagree, I take that to be a reference to the circumpolar zodiac. Why? Because as we just saw, the author just told us again, let me read it. When at the advent of the solar period, the worship of the fatherhood in heaven became established. Then time was reckoned by the sun sun instead of, as formerly, by the stars and the moon. Okay, y'all? I'm thinking that's a reference to the circumpolar zodiac. To the circumpolar zodiac. Okay, Sabian time. Atum, Atum in Egypt, Hia in Assyria, and Abraham in Israel became the father of the gods, and the child of the mother became known as the son of the father. Wow. I have to read that again, y'all. Atum in Egypt, Hea, Hea in Syria, and Abram in Israel became the father of the gods. Okay. I see. So this is under the solar zodiac projection. They became father to the gods. So their tribes, their sons, right? Their sons are the gods. They became the father of the gods, and it has it in capital G-O-D. And the child of the mother became known as the son of the father. This individualization of the father, whom the people then enthroned above the ancient mother, so that's a transition from matriarchy to patriarchy, was acclaimed with great rejoicings. Y'all hear that? That means they were extremely happy that they totally changed our mindset. See, that's out of nature. If you live like that, that's out of harmony with nature. It's definitely dishonoring your ancient foremothers and forefathers. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. This is a huge scam, y'all. Okay? And they were thrilled about it. That's why I'm thinking this is Yaqub. This is Yaqub and his camp. Yaqub and his boys. Finally, the child of both became the substitute for the mother and the father of a later period of theology. In other words, eventually JC, the Christ figure, became the central focus, and Mary and the Father, they're in the background. Jesus is in the front. The seventh day, Saturday, was always the day of Soot, who is Saturn, y'all. Always the day of Soot, Saturn. But when Soot of Sabian or Sabian origin was turned into a solar god, y'all see that? Jeremiah 8, verse 8. His day became Sunday. Soot. This is incredible. And y'all know the Catholic Church admits to this, right? They admit to it. The seventh day, Saturday, was always the day of Soot, who was Saturn. But when Soot of Sabian origin was turned into a solar god, his day became Sunday, the day of the sun, the S-U-N, sun. The footnote reads, the secular church was founded by Constantinian Christianity, who set aside the day of the S-U-N, sun, Sunday, for the worship of Jesus. And you see why, if you are an autochthonous Moor, you cannot be a Christian. It's impossible. And I'm paraphrasing C.M. Bay. Okay, so this Christian religion is not something that's beautiful and altruistic. No, it is political. It is political. And they had and still have, I'm sure they still have, an army of some sort, right? And an intelligence agency. I'm sure they still have it. Just ask someone who went and made a confession to a Catholic priest, and then the next week they get caught and locked up. Right? Let's keep it going. But when Sut of Sabian origin was turned into a solar god, his day became Sunday, the day of the sun. In this solar form, this is Sut. This is Sut, Typhoon's first son, who eventually becomes a planet, Saturn. In this solar form, Sut became known as Sebek Ra, the Lamb. Now y'all should be thinking Aries, the Ram, Aries, the Lamb, Jesus, the Lamb of God. Sebek Ra, Ra as in the sun deity, the Lamb of the 13th dynasty. 13, isn't that interesting? The Lamb of the 13th dynasty. 12 apostles, one Jesus, that's 13. 12 zodiac signs plus one sun, that's 13. 13 is Masonic. 13 is a number that is used to control, right? To have domination, complete domination over someone or something. Perfect rulership, right, y'all? Perfect rulership. Not that you would enjoy the benefits of a perfect rulership. No. Those who have power, who are on the inside of the house, secret society members, they would have perfected rulership over you. Okay? In other words, you'd be a slave. You'd be in bondage, a debtor, is what I'm saying. And they'd have you perfectly under their control, complete. Okay, y'all? This occurred when, at the equinox, the sun entered the zodiacal sign Aries, symbolized as the ram or lamb, and he, capital H-E, who was in his Sabian origin the leader of the Typhonian seven of the constellation of the Great Bear, was continued as the Lamb of seven stars of the book of Revelation. Y'all see the remix? Jeremiah 8 verse 8. Y'all see it? Now, let's look at this just a little bit closer. We're talking about Saturn. Soot, who is later presented as the planet Saturn. Seventh day of the week, Catholic Church remixes the Sabbath, the Shabbat, which, by the way, y'all, is governed by what? Governed by the moon. That day is changed to Sunday. Goes from Saturday to Sunday. Sunday. Sebek Ra. Okay? Sit becomes now, under the solar projection, Sebek Ra. Ra as in the sun deity, the lamb of the 13th dynasty. Isn't that interesting? The 13th dynasty, I'm wondering if those 13 dynasties represent 12 dynasties. And the lamb represents the 13th. The same as we get the number 13 by the 12 zodiac signs, and then 13 is when you add the SUN sun. Something to think about. Let's continue. And he who is Soot, who becomes Saturn, and he who was of Sabian origin, the leader, listen y'all, of the Typhonian seven, circle seven, who was the leader. In other words, he was the firstborn, right? He was the first to be formed, predominantly expressing masculine energy. He was what, y'all? The leader of the Typhonian seven, those seven stars in the Great Bear. The Typhonian seven of the constellation of the Great Bear. All right, now let me see. Let's go back to circle seven. Now do y'all see why? I mean, there's the evidence for you. I spoke of it, but now you get to see it. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull it up. So circle seven. Cycles of time, the mother of cycles of time, the mother of revolutions, and those cycles are going in a circle, 360 degrees, around the North Pole, right? Around the North Celestial Pole. And there are seven, circle seven, the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. When the Moor is standing erect, when Hiram Abiff resurrects himself, his head becomes the North Pole, the North Celestial Pole. Circle seven. Y'all don't get mad at me. I'm just trying to add to it, trying to share what I see. Circle seven. So is this located in the celestial North Pole? And those lines between the red circles are the four corners, the cardinal points. Okay, y'all? Circle seven. The celestial ship of the North, the Great Bear, the seven stars. Time. Our time. The mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. So anyway, so now, so Soot was continued as the Lamb of the seven stars in the book of Revelation. So now they make Soot Jesus, okay, the son of the sun, the son of the SUN sun. All right. So let's keep it going. The starting place was always in the north, where ancients noted that the revolving of the constellations around the pole star took place. That's the revelations. That's the cycles. Okay. So from point A, one revolution is a cycle of time. Okay. The mother of revolutions, the mother of cycles of time. One of these early constellations was called Cassiopeia, the quote-unquote lady of the sea. She can be seen sitting in a chair in the pictorial charts of the heavens. She was queen of Ethiopia. Our biblical Cush. And this ancestral seat in the north as a point of beginning suggests Ethiopia as the first mystical birthplace. Now, why are they using mystical birthplace? Why are they using mystical? In the Hebrew writings, Ethiopia, listen y'all, Cush and Zaba, Cush, Zaba, Saba, Sabbath, right? Saba more, Cush and Zaba, Z-A-B-A, are convertible terms. Oh, wow. Cush and Zaba. In other words, Cush and Zaba, Z-A-B-A, are synonyms. They're the same. Cush and Zaba are synonyms for the same country, the Egypt beyond Egypt. And combined with the Zabi and Z-A hyphen B-E hyphen A-N-S, and combined with the Zabian from the wilderness. This is quoting from Ezekiel chapter 23, verse 42. Cush and Ethiopia are both names of the north celestial pole, the Garden of Eden, where the constellation called the Thigh, that's the Great Bear, right? Remember? The matrix of the world is found. The womb of the world is found. Again, this is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers that we're told to return to. And when Hiram Abiff resurrects, his head becomes the north celestial pole and his feet becomes the south celestial pole. In other words, he's out of the solar zodiac projection. His head is out of Aries and his feet are out of Libra. He's out of the curses and back into the blessings. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and chapter 30, etc., etc., etc. Oh, y'all. I'm going to read one more paragraph. Maybe two. Page 16. What time is it? I got... Okay, page 16, first paragraph. At first, when the elementary powers ruled lawlessly and destructively, we learned that there was chaos. And from out of this chaotic destruction in space, creation brought with it the beginnings of mythology. So y'all, in other words, the mythology does not have a honorable beginning. Let me let me say it again. At first, that means at the beginning. When the elementary powers rule, this sounds like everything was good between those who had a right to rule. They were ruling properly until they began to rule lawlessly. So at first, when the elementary powers ruled lawlessly and destructively, we learned that there was chaos. Well, that makes total sense, right? We need to find out what does chaos mean. And from out of this chaotic dissolution in space, things falling apart, right? Dissolution. Creation brought with it. What creation? Creation brought with it. What does that mean? There's no such thing as creation. Things just transform. When you talk about celestially, right? The only creation are hybrids. They were created on earth. Creation brought with it the beginnings of mythology. So mythology comes out of what, y'all? What's being presented to us as being lawlessness. Mythology did not exist before there was lawlessness. This is what this is saying. And ushered in the first period of fixed time. Wow. Ushered in the first period of fixed time. The 7 stars of the constellation at the pole. Here we are again, those 7 stars, circle 7. Those 7 stars, okay? Those 7 stars of the constellation at the pole, talking about the Great Bear or the Thigh, right? Came to convey the idea of this first time. I already see this is going sideways, y'all. Let's continue. They were called the beginningless lights. The beginningless lights. These 7 stars were the beginningless lights. Y'all think about that. And were held most sacred by the priest. And many of the observations and the information given in the sacred mysteries. So we already know we're dealing with the solar zodiac projection because they're talking about mysteries. So many of the information in the sacred mysteries concerning these quote-unquote lights have fortunately been so carefully preserved that no type has ever been completely lost. And all can still be studied in pristine purity. Where? Most likely in the higher levels of the secret societies, right, y'all? Because it's not circulating freely. You can believe that. I haven't seen it my whole life. And I've been here for a long time. Knowledge of celestial time was attributed to Typhon, goddess mother of the Great Bear, and to her son Sut, the dog star. Listen, y'all. Listen, now here we go. Circle 7. Here we go. When the Great Mother, when Typhon made her first cycle around the North Pole at the rising of the dog star in the south. So dog star in the south, typhoon in the north, dog star rises. Y'all see that? Dog star is rising, and now we have that first cycle, okay, y'all? A cycle of time, mother of the cycles of time, the mother of revolution. There's that circle, 360 degrees. Okay, so when Typhoon made her first cycle around the North Pole at the rising of the dog star in the south, the first year or cycle of time was accomplished, of which Sut was made the announcer. So Soot, the dog star, announced that first cycle of time. Only an upper and lower heaven were given at this period. In other words, upper the northern celestial pole and southern celestial pole. That means what, y'all? That the equinoctial points were not mentioned. Just as upper and lower heavens. North celestial pole, south celestial pole. And by the way, so the solstitial line, the sun at its highest elevation, is below the North Pole. Okay? And then the winter solstice, the sun's lowest elevation, is above. Right? So, okay, y'all? So, let's continue. Only an upper and lower heaven were given at this time. It was before the four corners or cardinal points had been represented and before the equinoxes and solstices had been established. Huh. This is the ancient mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, y'all. Y'all read it for yourself. This is that old time religion, y'all. This is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. This is the original zodiac projection. So pause it on the replay. I need to keep moving. Only an upper and lower heaven were given at this period. Okay? Knowledge of celestial time was attributed to Typhoon. Only an upper and lower heaven were given at this time, northern and southern celestial poles. It was before the four corners or cardinal points had been presented. So now, y'all, let's look at circle 7 again. The initial zodiac projection did not have these cardinal points. There was no solstitial line. No line representing the winter and summer solstice. No equinoctial line representing the fall and spring equinox. It did not exist. It didn't exist. Okay, y'all? This came into being in the solar zodiac projection. See, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said the half has not been told. All right? So in other words, this is not ancient. Because why? Because the solar zodiac projection is not ancient. Okay, so here we go, y'all. Let's keep going. I got to read it again. Only an upper and lower heaven were given at this time. Only the north and south celestial pole were given during this time. This is the celestial, the circumpolar zodiac projection. It was before the four corners or cardinal points had been represented and before the equinoxes and solstices had been established. This fulfillment of the first year of time remains fixed in the planisphere forever. And regardless of all changes, in other words, no matter what the pharaonic pharaohs had written or changed into the zodiac, no matter what mythological stories they added, no matter what changes they made, including the Catholic Church. This origin, in other words, the celestial, the circumpolar zodiac projection, this origin has never been entirely lost or superseded. Superseded means replaced. It was found in the heavens above and reflected in the earth below. As above, so below, and as below, so above. The Hermetic law of correspondence. And will remain as witness of the early Sabian time, which began with the old mother Typhon and her son. Circle 7. Okay. Y'all know what I just thought about? I don't know if this is appropriate, not appropriate, but I just thought about when Moses said, I bring the heavens and the earth as a witness against you. The thought I just had, I wonder if he's talking about the law of correspondence. As above, so below, as below, so above, like this author just said. It was found in the heavens above, so that's the north and the south, celestial poles, and reflected in the earth below. So I wonder, I'm not saying this is so, I'm just sharing the thought that I had. That Moses was saying he's calling the north and the south celestial poles against the people, as a witness against the people. That makes sense, don't it? What verse was that, y'all? Maybe Deuteronomy 30. I haven't given it any thought, it just came to my mind. So let's check it out. Yeah. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 19. Y'all read that. Read that. This day I call the heavens and earth as witnesses against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Okay, that's your birthright and denationalization and all the horrors that go along with denationalization. Now choose life. Physical and civil life, y'all, right? So that you and your heirs may live, and that you may love the Most High your power, listen to his voice, and hold fast to him. All right, for the Lord is your life, and he will give you many years, da-da-da-da-da. All right, so we know who the Lord is, right? The Lord is you. If you understand, if you've been following my work, or maybe you know it not through me, but you know that the Lord is in fact you, right? What is man? Man is thought made manifest from the soil, okay? So if you know who you are, you know exactly what's happening, right? Right? Self-image psychology and the whole 9 yards. I'm not going to get into it because I go off on a tangent and I really need to go. So let me show y'all that image again. Hold on. Let me pull it up. You brighten it up. So here it is, y'all, circle 7. The North Celestial Pole with its 7 stars of the Great Bear, who is the thigh, right? The Typhonian thigh. And you see there are no 4 corners. There are no cardinal points. Y'all see that? So stand up erect more. Make your head the celestial North Pole and your feet the celestial South Pole. All right, return to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. That old time religion. Assalamu alaikum, Islam to all the Moors, I self-law and master, Shalawama.